A year ago, I changed the track plan at the west end of Echo Canyon on my N-scale layout. Now I'm working on new scenery in this same area. Can I capture the feel of Echo Canyon in making new scenery? That's what I'm going to show you in this and upcoming videos. I showed you how and why I changed the track plan at Echo Canyon a year ago. Today I'm going to take you back to Echo Canyon to show you the scenery work I finally started doing there. Why? First, because Echo Canyon is the best spot for rail fanning and video filming on my layout, and you will see some trains running through Echo Canyon today. Second, I'm taking you over there because you may want to make some changes to the track and scenery on your layout, and I want to show you how I'm doing it. When I modified the track plan in this area of my layout back in 2022, I installed Woodland Scenic's inclines to elevate the track in the canyon and to carry the tracks across the creek and over to that area of my layout representing Pocatello, Idaho and Morgan, Utah. Yes, it has taken me a long time to get back to work on the scenery here, but I like to make sure that my track work is flawless before I do scenery work. Besides, I'm not in a hurry when working on my layout, and most importantly, it has taken me such a long time because I'm the world's slowest model railroader. Ha! I explained why I set out to change this area of my layout in a video I did a year ago called Making Track Plan Changes. I will put a link to that video in the description down below so that you can go watch it. My goal in making these track plan changes was to create a traditional around-the-room layout. Then I could run my trains continuously on the upper level of the layout without them having to descend down to lower level staging. In the light blue rectangle on the lower left here, you can see where I changed my track plan in order to do this. I believe that what I did is a good example of how and why we model railroaders often make changes to our track plans after running our trains on our layouts for a while. I just now filmed this clip showing you where the tracks used to go down to the western helix on their way to lower level staging. As the angle gauge shows, there is now almost no grade in the track at Echo Canyon because it no longer goes down from here to the western helix. Instead, the track now runs west to the area on my layout called Morgan, Utah. So let me show you what I've done during the past few weeks. The first thing I did was to install a bridge across Echo Canyon Creek. Of course, eventually I would have to change the curve of the creek under the bridge. Later on, I will show you how I did that. I had a number of choices for bridge types to use. I ended up using Kato Unitrack curved viaduct bridges. The inner bridge has a 13 3/4 inch radius, and the outer one has a 15-inch radius. These bridges may not be prototypical, but I like the way they look here on my layout. Next, I needed to glue down the Woodland Scenic's inclines to the sub-road bed using white glue. This was something I still hadn't done since installing the inclines a year ago. Throughout the process of doing this scenery work, I continued to run my trains whenever I could, partly to test the track and partly because running trains is what we model railroaders like to do. Next, I needed to cover the tops of the Woodland Scenic's inclines. If I didn't cover them, then when I ballasted the tracks later on, the ballast would flow down through the openings in the inclines. In order to do this, I first removed the tracks. This is easy to do when using Kato Unitrack. In the past, I covered the tops of my inclines using a thin coating of spackling paste. This technique has always worked well for me in the past. But this time I decided to try something different. I wanted to cover the tops of the inclines with masking tape. I've seen Mike Pfeiffer do this on his layout. I think either method works well, that is, either spackling paste or masking tape. But at least by using masking tape this time, I didn't have to wait for the spackling paste to dry. Then I painted the masking tape using a medium gray color paint. Doing this will be useful later on when I ballast the tracks using medium gray ballast. I noticed that Mike paints his masking tape. Then when the paint had dried, I reinstalled the track. And once again, I ran some trains. Now it was time to install abutments on the bridge. I will show you how I built the abutments using an easy but effective method to build them. Yes, that is cork road bed I'm using, and I will show you how I used it to build the abutments in my next video in this series. In the meantime, I invite you to go watch this video to see how and why I modified the track plan in Echo Canyon. Just click on it. I'm Roy Smith, and I will see you over there.